On this episode of the John 1911 podcast, the John Wayne MAC-10 story, Mongo goes on a buying spree, will Japanese military rifles be coming into the U.S., and the Steve McQueen 1911. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Mongo and Marky, and this is episode, let me look, 402 of the John 1911 podcast. Today is Wednesday, April 29th at 2:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, I've been a little tardy on getting podcast out. I apologize for that. Actually, content in general. There's been some issues that have been coming up, just professional issues over here that have required a lot of my attention and some travel. So I am at the John 1911 Armory, and I am rip-roaring to go. And Mongo doesn't even know what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to start off with this. So Mongo, you have submitted a write-up for the website for Swedish BAR accessories. And I think we talked about this on pod. It's like, yeah, give me a write-up on that. And then so I get the write-up from Mongo, and it's 40 pages.
Oh, it wasn't that many.
It prints out because here's what we have to do. It's so big. Like, I just can't drop it onto the website. I've got to get it on the website. Then I have to pull your pictures out of your PDF or whatever. You've got a PDF and you've got another whatever Excel, whatever file. And then I got to upload each individual photograph, name them, tag them, and do all that, and drop everything in. And I have to go through the entire article. And since I didn't write the article, I have to look at everything 9 times, every element, to make sure that everything makes sense. And so I apologize to you as to why this is taking so long, but it's a lot. It's
no problem.
So you're like, man, where's my article at on my BAR accessories? It's like, dude, we're working on it. It's like 10 normal posts for the website. It's huge. And I was like, I'm going to get some content up right away. I've been kind of busy and traveling. Mongo's got some. I'm like, holy shit, this is 40 pages long. It's like, can't do that one. So anyway, we think it's funny. No one else thinks it's funny, but these are the trials and tribulations of being an editor. So what's going on with you?
Not much. I guess the listeners will be glad to hear that you have caved in and doubled my salary.
Yes. 2 times 0 is still 0. So, hardcore math problem there. That's a math department joke. Last we talked, we were texting. It wasn't clear to me. Did you tell me you bought the H&K, or you were going to have the guy build the H&K?
Well, I guess that would depend on which H&K you mean. If you mean the MP5 SD, I bought it.
No, I'm talking about I forgot about the MP5 SD. Okay. All right. You know what? All right. Let's start over. Tell the listeners at home about your MP5 SD.
I guess after doing a bit of research and everything, and of course, Marky correcting me once again, making me look at something I might want. And I sat there and found an MP5 SD on a semi-auto. It's not a full auto, on Gunbroker. And I started doing research on people who do conversions and stuff. Most of the class 2 manufacturers that I dealt with over the years, I'm old and they are much older, and they are pretty much all retired. But it turns out most of them had kids, so their kids are doing it now.
Okay.
But anyway, so there is a gentleman up in Texas here that has built this one that was on Gunbroker. And I looked into him, and he was a gunsmith for a well-known maker of SDs previously. And he decided to open his own shop, and everyone had said good things about his work and everything. So I said, well, I'll go ahead and buy this. And it had a B&T, the normal length SD suppressor, And then all his work was done on an SP5, which is the semi-automatic, quote, pistol that HK imports into the U.S. currently. So he had taken a real, quote, real HK and converted it to the SD configuration. And, excuse me, he had machined the original barrel to the same profile as the MP5 SD and converted the gun to an MP5 SD. So I went ahead and bought it. And once I got talking to him, all my if I'm going to do paperwork, I start thinking, what else can I do paperwork at the same time? Because I only want to do one stack of paperwork at a time.
This is like chick logic. Like, it's normally X, but it's on sale, so I'm saving money, so I need to buy more.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, you buy 10 pairs of shoes, you save money.
Yeah.
So I talked to this, the gunsmith. It's KC Arms in Texas here, by the way. And I said, well, I'm also interested in an HK 33k, which is the 5.56 version of the HK rifle. And K is it's a 12.5-inch barrel. So it ends right in front of the gas lock, but it's got the long handguard on the front. I did like the 53s. You can actually get 53s being imported as pistols, but I like the slightly longer.
Isn't Century bringing those in?
I believe so.
Yeah, I've been seeing them everywhere.
So I would talk to him, and we're talking about what exactly I wanted it on it and everything. So I decided to go ahead and give him half the money for that, but get in the waiting list. He said it's going to be about 6 months.
Okay.
So I've got a little reminder on my phone to call in 6 months if I don't hear from him.
They see you coming. So I don't want to hear squat about me spending money. So, I've been spending money like crazy.
On top of that, I found on Gunbroker that there was HK uses a 15 millimeter by 1 thread pitch. So I needed a suppressor mount for my 416 SD, which I use. So I found one on Gunbroker, and they're not made anymore. So I decided, well, time to buy that. So I've been buying ancillary crap for these things already and spending money. And then, of course, I'm doing paperwork. So I needed, obviously, a AR-15 receiver to SBR. But there was a deal on 3 of them, and if I'm going to do one, I might as well do more than one. So I bought 3 of them.
What?
So there was a deal on 3, so I decided to buy all 3. I got a friend that wanted one of them, so I sold him off, at cost, that one. And I've got 2 of them now that I'm going to SBR as well. And I have that 11-inch 733 build that I've got an upper to build a 733 clone.
Okay.
And so I needed SBR it, and I've got all the parts for everything on that. So I needed a lower. So this is going to give me an extra lower that's an SBR, which who knows what I'll make out of it eventually, but it's going to be SBR'd immediately.
So will any of these gun projects end up as write-ups, and will there ever be any shooting video that I can include?
I sure hope so. My nurse says I'm almost completely healed up, so hopefully this summer we'll get out there and suffer from the heat and fire some rounds downrange.
Good. So we can I'll do all the editing. You don't have to worry about just, hit record and let it go for a second. And then when you're done shooting, let the video go for a second. So I have space if I want to do anything with the video, I've got like a room to transition. That's the only advice. I would prefer landscape horizontal, but if you give me vertical, I do not care. I can handle both.
I'm not a vertical guy. That drives me nuts to see it in vertical.
Yeah, but it's vertical. I know I'm not either, but vertical's taken over. So
Yeah.
Like I have to produce vertical videos for all these shorts. And like basically Facebook is converted to all vertical video. So what I do is if I have to film something vertical and I want it to be on the website doesn't handle vertical well. So I just in the editing software, I just basically render it as a horizontal landscape video, and there's space on either side of it. So for example, like the video that I just put up with Kraken almost getting his house burned down, he filmed that vertical, but I produced it as a landscape, was able to drop in photographs on either side of the video, like, of the fire and all that. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, are we allowed to ask how much money you've spent, or is that uncouth and we're not allowed to do that at the Country Club of Guns?
Let me see. The 33K, the order for it is going to total right around 4,500, around there.
Okay.
With the specific options I picked.
Mm-hmm.
And the MP5 SD, damn, what? It was around 8K with tax and everything. So
yeah, that's about what the one I passed up on. That's about what it was going for.
Yeah, so slightly around 14K until you start looking at ancillaries I've already sunk money into.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, because you're the only other person I know that's ever had to deal with this, because I deal with Blaser rifles, and if I deal with Blaser barrels that come in from Europe, all those thread pitches are metric in Europe. So, like for example, I can't remember. I'm so into the metric. Is it like, what's the thread pitch in America for 5.56? Is it 280? What is it? 280?
It's half by 28.
Half by 28.
Right hand.
And then what's the other one? There's another one that's kind of common.
5/8 24 is common for 30 caliber.
5/8 24. So whereas
also right hand thread.
Yeah, whereas the metric stuff is like the big bull barrels. They come in the Blaser. I think they're M18. So 18 by 1, and then there's a 15 by 1.
I think there's also a 14 by 1, if I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think I've personally run into a 14 by 1. And yeah, but I mean, I've even had, and so what I did is I had to find a suppressor that would handle metric threads. So I was able to do Silencer Co. harvesters, and they would sell these thread inserts. Again, I know it's kind of hinky. I mean, I understand that the more threading, you're adding, you're threading it onto a barrel, and then you got the thread insert that's, also got threads, and it's, you've got, I hate to use tolerance stacking, but, things become more, angularly fucked up, or have the potential to be, but, it was the only thing I could do. So this guy's making metric thread suppressors, because you're not getting a metric thread suppressor from Europe, right?
Oh yeah, no. This is my 416 SD suppressor that I guess was briefly written about in one of the articles I wrote on the website.
Oh, okay.
This was from the original design competition for
that's
Crane.
right.
So yeah, from Crane, and when I did some work for AAC, so this was when I do work on gun stuff, I always have it contracted that I get one of whatever that I design. So I've got something to remember it by and show off and stuff like that. Plus, it's useful.
Yeah. Well, professionally speaking, it's good to have an example for future clients.
True, especially since
nothing to do with your personal collection.
Well, that and the drawings are usually under NDA, so it's not like you can say, "Hey, look at my drawing here of this component." So I can't exactly say that.
That's a good point. Yeah, because if they're paying for it, they own it. Well, I mean, unless they're dumb, but no one's that dumb.
Well, NDAs do expire over time. There's usually a allotment of time.
Is it 20 years? Like with patents?
No, they're typically 5-year NDAs.
Okay.
That's assuming we don't patent it. If it's patented, it's a different story. It's covered by the patent and the NDA. And the patent usually runs longer. So,
okay, yeah, patents typically run 20 years.
but you can show people stuff from the patent. I mean, you can point at the patent and say, "Hey, look, that's what I designed."
Yeah, that's true, because patents are, that's part of the process. You can't patent it if you can't show it, because you can't prove it you designed it. You can't patent something that you can't show.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the motivation for, patenting things and being able to protect things. So
Right. And then there's also some stuff I can't have, like post-sample machine guns that I design. Since I don't have a class 2 or a class 3, I don't have any license at all, FFL or anything. I'm just an individual. I can't have those items in my possession because they would all be post-1986 non-transferable machine guns.
And so so when you're doing work as a contractor, you're operating under your contract as the contractee's license?
Right.
And
yeah. I typically I don't have to deal with it physically handling it normally in those cases. Normally I'm designing something that goes with it, or if we have drawings or whatever, all I'm doing is I'll generate a model of what I'm interfacing with, and then I will design something to interface with it. And so we'll be doing it strictly on an I'm going to call it electronic basis. And they'll 3D print it, and we'll test fit it and everything, and then make adjustments, and then go from there.
Okay. I mean, you have an interesting life. Well, I've always wanted to meet someone more interesting than me, and I think I finally did it.
As long as it's not the Chinese proverb, interesting life, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Speaking of which, interesting life. We're not going to talk about this, but there's a story coming out of China that there's a big HIV outbreak among all these senior Chinese communist leaders, generals, and their concubine soldier girlfriends. They're all fucking each other and they're all coming down with the HIV. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on over there? So yeah, that's a little teaser for people to Google. They don't need to get that off of our podcast.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything along those lines, and certainly haven't bothered searching for it either.
No. I get a lot of the Chinese stuff crosses my desk. So and I was just laughing about that one. It's like, you don't know if it's real, but it probably has some truth to it. But then people kind of, they kind of run with it. Like, I mean, like it's come out like with certainty. Not only are there Chinese air defense weapons that have been, were defeated by Iran and Israel during the bombing campaigns here in Iran, with Operation, is it Midnight Hammer? What's the war called now? Or is Midnight Hammer the B-2 strike? What's the war called now? Is this Midnight Hammer? I can't remember now. Is this one called Midnight Hammer?
I can't remember. Tell you.
Yeah, we'll call it the Strait of Hormuz War. So it has now come out that, and it makes sense, when last year, when we bombed when Israel knocked out all the air defense and we bombed the sites, Russia couldn't really send a bunch of air defenses to Iran because they needed them with the war with Ukraine. So they got a bunch of stuff from China. Well, the Chinese stuff is different enough that the Iranians, they need to be trained to operate it. But the reality is there's a learning curve. So to get the systems up and running, not only did the Iranians get Chinese air defense, they got Chinese troops to man these air defenses. And we've apparently been killing Chinese troops. We've been killing Chinese air defense with Chinese air defense soldiers. And it's a huge scandal. In China, it's like all of our shit, none of our shit works.
Must be the full service Temu.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of dudes from there's a bunch of dudes from DJI that were killed. They were in a bunker and doing, because DJI is they do a lot of the drone work. Like, here's something that the Western media completely lies about this. They 100% lie about this. They tell everybody that all those drones, that those Shahed drones, that's like a deal with Russia, and that's complete bullshit. Like, maybe some of that was initially, but now all of that stuff comes out of China. The bodies are made in China. The engines come from a couple different Chinese motorcycle factories. They're like little 50cc engines. All of it comes out of China, and like, there's all these Chinese drone companies that are, doing military contract work in Iran. They're all getting killed too. In some cases, they're just trapped in bunkers underground and they can't get out. And it's just really interesting how involved China is in combat in Iran, and Western media is the White House and everybody's intentionally not really admitting it, but it comes out in Chinese media. Because what happens is they try to hide it, but then there'll be fatalities or casualties, or what will happen is service members or employees of Chinese companies will be in Iran, and in today's world, China's no different than everybody else. Everybody's got cell phones and pagers and the internet and all these apps and stuff, and all of a sudden now they can't get a hold of anybody. And so the families start going, I can't get a hold of Ling Ling, I can't get a hold of my son, what's going on? I'm worried. And then the rumors start, and then some facts come out, and then it gets to be a big story, and then the government comes in and shuts it all down. And it's like a cycle that repeats constantly in China. And it's just really interesting what's going on with all that. So, yeah. I can tell a lot of Chinese shit comes across my desk. So, but anyway, HK533k MP5 SD. Have you had any normal gun projects lately? Anything like the average person could possibly?
Well, I broke down and cleaned a gun yesterday.
Hey, now.
I was taking measurements off my stoner, and there's a little groove inside the gas tube on the stoner, on the gas cylinder. And I needed to measure that damn thing, and I looked in there, I couldn't see it. There was so much carbon buildup in there. So I had to break down and actually clean it.
Do you try to clean it by hand, or you put the part in a sonic tank?
Oh, I don't have a sonic at all.
Okay. Sonic tanks are double-edged swords. You gotta be careful.
Well, that's a great way to eat the finish off aluminum, but yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of aluminum guns ruined in a ultrasound.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, all right. So you cleaned your Stoner 63.
I cleaned the gas tube. I didn't make it to the rest of the gun.
Okay.
Just because I needed a measurement.
This might be of interest. There was a story. It came out about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's interesting." Japan, and it hasn't been picked up by the U.S. gun community, but Japan as a country has always had this, again, pacifist policy, and they don't, they're a Japanese self-defense force. They don't sell weapons. Well, Japan has now officially changed their policy, and they want to start being able to export weapons on the world markets. One, because there's an opportunity, but two, it will enable their domestic defense contractors to make more money, to have more money, to be able to be bigger, stronger companies and build more shit, because the Japanese are on a big building spree. And what this means is, long story short, we haven't seen anything yet, but there is a theoretical opportunity to import Japanese service rifles into the U.S. I've been wondering about that. I'm looking it up real quick here.
I mean, they're making, they make like Winchesters over there still. I guess you're talking specific military type.
Military, hold on.
Yeah.
There's a service rifle that they make, the Howa Type. So there's two of them. There's the Howa Type 89, and then the current one is the Howa Type 20. And the Howa Type 20 is basically, oh, wait a minute, hold on. The Howa Type 20 looks like a Scar. That's interesting. What are we looking at here? Designer Harada Toshihinko. Unit cost $2,600. 5.56 gas operated short stroke piston, 650 rounds a minute, 30 round mags, iron sights. I mean, this thing, I'll send you a.
If it's short stroke, then it's not the same as a.
Oh, let me see. This is the current one, but I'll send you the old one. Here's the current one.
Scar long stroke though.
No, the Scar's got a short piston that throws the big long carrier. The Scar's got a giant carrier in it. The Scar has a short little piston, and it throws the carrier in Scars are surprisingly big.
No,
it's not a direct.
It's not. Isn't the piston connected to the carrier?
No.
You sure?
Wait a minute. I don't think so.
I believe it is.
No. In the Scar 16, because it's up in the. No, it's not, because I have one, and the piston does not come out. The piston's not connected to the carrier.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean connected? I mean, obviously touches it, right?
No, I meant
because you have a special tool. There's a special tool that you have to get in there and clean that piston out. I've got one of the tools.
So it's a tappet system instead. It's like an M1 carbine, where the piston only moves, a fraction of an inch.
I have a confession. I don't own an M1 carbine, so I really don't know. But I do know that the piston in the Scar 16
giant ass reference collection and no M1 carbine. How
disappointing. No, I've been looking, and you know what? I don't have an M1 carbine. I had an M1D I sold years ago that I should, but there was problems with it, and I should have just worked with it. And I don't have a Moss 4956, and I keep looking at all these run through thought guns that what's RTI stand for? Royal Tiger Imports has, and I'm just like, these guns are just all tore up. But now suddenly somebody's bringing in, I think, a bunch of good M1 carbines, because even AIM Surplus has now popped up with M1 carbines.
Yeah,
but Scar, I don't know if
by the way, Scar is short stroke.
Yeah, so I was right. So it is a short stroke gas.
Yeah.
So then there's the Howa Type 89, which looks like kind of like a SIG 550. Like, there's opportunities here, dude. I mean, I'm telling you, like, this is the Type 89 was introduced to replace the Howa Type 64.
Wasn't the Howa 89? Wasn't that that's in 308, but it's a reduced charge 308, if I remember right.
This one I'm looking at here on this description shows it as a 5.56.
Okay, maybe it was the previous one then.
Let me see here. Refer to. Oh, hold on. You know what? Here it is. The Howa Type 89 assault rifle, referred to as the Type 89 5.56. That probably tells me that there's another variant that's 7.62. Like, why would you call it Type 89 5.56? Why wouldn't you just call it Type 89 unless you needed to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if I remember right, they didn't adopt the 5.56 until much later than we did.
So here's a blurb on it. The Type 89 has never been exported outside of Japan due to its strict Japanese arms export ban. I mean, it's super interesting. I mean, I think it's super interesting. I'd love to you know, I'd love to have a Type 89 and a Type 20. I mean, the Type 20 looks, I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm just looking at a picture of the Type 20, the Japanese Type 20. I'm looking at the front with the gas on it. Man, I mean, that, I can see a little bit of where the front of the gas block is. Man, that looks like a scar. I mean, that looks a lot like a scar. I mean, it looks like even like the top of the upper would be the receiver and the lower would be, that looks suspiciously like a scar. And that's not even counting it actually has an Ugg boot stock. Like, it's not quite the scar Ugg boot, but it's got an Ugg boot stock. It's like, this is a freaking scar. But yeah, it'd be great to get. I mean, dude, they'd scarf the hell out of these in the U.S. They'd sell every one they brought in. You know, and if Daewoo works out, or whatever it's called now, not Daewoo. What's Daewoo called now?
Shit if I know.
I forgot. I used to know it, and then we didn't study for this.
All right,
there's gonna be a quiz.
I have straightened out my brain using the internet. It was the Howa Type 64, which was the 7.62 that NATO round, but it was a reduced charge.
Oh,
because
that sucks.
Because it kicked too hard.
Well, I mean, look. To be fair, I think a lot of Japanese people today are taller than they were, say, 2 generations ago. Like, certainly Chinese people are. And a lot of it has to do with diet and, a lot eating like more of a Western diet. But, a lot of them dudes, like, I had a Japanese girlfriend in the 90s, and I mean, like, they're just small people. So yeah, I could easily, if you're going to try to have a caliber and be compatible with your self-defense partners, America, you got all these Marines, and they're a 308. It's like, you know what? I had forgotten that they had run a reduced power 308, but that almost seems like a
supposedly
disaster.
The guns handled full power as well, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just may be a gas. I don't know specifics, but it's probably just a gas setting.
Okay, well that's good, because I think that's just a recipe for disaster. Like, like you see this all. People will complain about, the gun nerds, and again, I'm talking to one, but the gun nerds will, they'll bemoan MacArthur putting his foot down and telling the M1 Garand people to make that thing in 30-06, but as opposed to, was it 264 Pedersen, or I don't
276 Pedersen.
276 Pedersen. I mean,
you've listened to Ian's podcast or question and answer deal this weekend, didn't you?
No, there was a. Does he talk about that? There was a.
Yeah, he talked in there. There was one of the questions on which would have been better, a 10-round Pedersen and 276 Pedersen Grand, or a something. I can't remember the rest of the question, but
well, there's a video.
Discussed it how that went. That we had stockpiles of odd 6. So,
well, there's a video by one of these ammo companies, Lucky Gunner. I guess they had published a video, and the video's titled something like "Why I Took So Many Years to Do Something with an M1 Garand." And I was like, okay, because I'm traveling, I can't really watch it, but I can listen to it. And I was like, I'll listen to that. And then there's something. It's like, oh, we published this video years ago, but it got deleted, and we cleaned it up and ever. And I was like, okay, and this reevaluating all the. Like revisiting all the stuff with, the MacArthur. And it's like, MacArthur was right, dude. Like, I mean, I hate to tell you this, but I mean, MacArthur was right.
Was he the one that made the decision?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He was when he made that decision. I believe he was chief of staff of the army.
No, okay.
Yeah, he did. It was before he went back to the Philippines. After left chief of staff of the army, he went to the Philippines to go into his American Caesar. You know, I'm going to be like a wear a white suit and pretend this isn't a giant plantation thing. I mean, the MacArthur is like MacArthur's career is very strange. Um, but yeah, he I believe he solely basically said, "We have 30-06. Y'all can fuck off. Make this work." And it's like I'm not personally not a big fan of 30-06. Like I literally like I try to buy a 308 caliber M1 Garand. Like I'm literally in the market for one. And I actually saw somebody had built some years ago a 308 caliber M1D. Again, it's a fake gun on Gunbroker, and I wanted to buy it. I was like, oh yeah, I want that because I don't really want to deal with 30-06. But we have a few 30-06 guns now, and it's like okay, we'll carry it a little bit, but just logistically speaking, even just running, these ranges and our collection, like 308, 5.56, 9 millimeter,
Yeah.
45 kinda. I've kind of backed off 45. 45 used to be my standard handgun round, but it's like I can always buy these basic calibers, and I can buy them in bulk. I can get pallets of them, and we can run them. Where like a lot of this other stuff, it's like you got to find it when you can. You may find it in the loadings that you like or don't like, or hunting bullets, or it might be bulk, it might be match, it might be whatever, it might be corrosive, and it's just all these crazy kind of things. And that's just running this collection here. So, like, given the choice, I mean, okay, here's a perfect example. I will try unless for some reason I'm forced into it and I just have to buy it because it's such a must buy. I have avoided buying a 30 Luger 7.62 whatever Luger because it's like I can buy 9 millimeter Lugers.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just got 9 millimeter. Like why would I don't give a fuck.
What you're trying to say is your range is NATO compatible.
Well, in the industry, what we call it is there's standard ammunition and then there's non-standard ammunition. That's what they call it. So, and I'm sure in Russia it's reversed, but we call it standard ammo as opposed to NATO, but it's standard ammo.
My first Grand was 308 Springfield Armory.
I'm hurting for one of those bad.
Yeah, I bought it brand new back when Springfield Armory used to make them. This was back in the early 90s, late 80s. And I did the same thing. I didn't want to deal with 30-06 either. So I got 308. And one thing, when you're looking at them, look to see if it's got the spacer block in the front of the magwell. They came up with a spacer block to keep you from sticking 30-06 in there, but it also helps feed from the stripper clip into the chamber. Most of them will feed without the block, but it's just a good idea to have that block in there.
Oh, I thought they all had the block in them. Actually,
no.
I had talked to a couple of the SWAT guys just as a text chain a couple weeks ago, and I was trying to round everybody up, and I was going to drive a bunch of us up to Camp Perry because I wanted – Camp Perry got a bunch in, but then it turns out Camp Perry had limited hours, and – I was like, like some guys, like they, like one guy's a police chief, so he can't go during the week. And so then the other guys got kids and they've got, ball game things on Saturday. So they can go during the week and trying to get it all worked out together. And then in the meantime, I went out and bought the German sniper, I bought the German faux K98 sniper, and then I turned around and bought the 1903 Springfield sniper. that I have put a picture up on. I showed it to you.
Right.
And I'm like, well, okay, I'm getting close to being gassed out here. I'm going to hold off and go to Camp Perry. So it's like, well, I kind of spent all my money. And that's not even counting all the other guns I bought that, haven't been covered yet. So, did I tell you that I bought, I paid for it. I don't have it. That not the company that's making the expensive SA-80, but the company that's making the knockoff.
Faux one. Yeah, with the you said something about it.
I don't remember which.
You mentioned it last podcast.
Yeah,
I don't remember whether or not I was disappointed with you.
Yeah, okay. Murdoch and Company is the one that does the expensive one, like the real one, and it's like $14,000, I guess, and maybe it's 12, but I think it's 14, and then there's this other company. And I gave them the money, and I didn't realize. I thought that they were going to like have the gun and ship it immediately. It's like, oh, we're going to start building these in May. After I already paid for it, I was like, oh shit. So, which I guess is fine. Like they're kind of husbanding everything and getting everything ready. They probably want to make sure all the credit cards don't get charged back for over a month. Like that's fine, because they probably if like one chargeback would probably break them. And so I'm hoping like May 5th or 6th I hear from these people, because I send them emails and I don't even like, did you guys get did you guys get my FFL? Like they don't respond to anything.
You know what happens in May, don't you? Gets a little too hot in the Bahamas.
Oh, that's what it is. They're down there living their best lives, and they're like, oh, we better go home and start making some money.
No, they figure they only have to have money until mid-May, and then they can leave the Bahamas after spending yours.
After spending mine, so yeah. Hey, look, that was actually kind of my fear, because you and we seriously talked about the expensive ones, and I don't remember if we talked about this on pod. I'm not trying to run these people down, but they're doing this expensive gun that's like an exact clone of the SA-80, or is it SA-85 or whichever one it is, the British service rifle, the bullpup. And then they're going to do one that's more later, that's more pedestrian, and I think it's going to be like $4,500. But part of me, I was looking at this and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, it sounds like to me that these people may be in a situation, unless they're independently wealthy or they've got some kind of financial backing from somebody. I mean, they need to sell every one of these $14,000 guns to get everything off the ground. And it was like, I'm just kind of not in the mood right now for like failed projects. And I'm just like, no, I'm not doing it. I've got too many things that are just messed up right now. I'm like, no, I want a sure thing. The dudes with the Brownells AR-18, AR-180, that's looking real good to me. And, it looks good enough for video. So it was like $2,000 or $2,500.
Well, you know how to make a small fortune in the gun industry, right?
Yes, you start off with a large fortune.
That's right. You start off with a large one and start a gun company.
Yeah, you end up with a small one. So, actually, that company, the one that's doing the knockoff guns that I bought, I was looking at I was so hot to trot that I was looking at their catalog. They're going to do a run of light machine guns. So it's basically the same gun with a heavy barrel and a bipod. And I'm like, yeah, I want one of those. I think it was like $2,500.
Yeah, that's the only model that interests me is that LSW.
So you telling me I bought the wrong one? Is that what you're telling me?
I would say so.
Well, I'll have to start running it by you for approval.
So, Chris, you bought the wrong AUG too, so.
Yeah. What's wrong with my AUG?
You didn't buy the support weapon AUG. The heavy barrel.
It is, it's actually on the only thing I've looked, all you have to buy for that is the barrel. And you can buy the barrels from Steyr.
I there's a guy that owns a Stoner, so he's got a beautiful collection of transferable machine guns. And one of the items he has the AUG support weapon on up on his wall. And I said, don't tell me that's the open bolt model. He goes, it is. And I said, son of a bitch. He goes, hey, if you ever come up here, I'll let you shoot it. So I've been dying to go up to, he's in Oklahoma, go up to Oklahoma to shoot that thing. So I haven't shot the open bolt one, but they're very rare.
It's transferable, or is it a post?
It is transferable.
That would be rare.
Well, I mean, it's a registered receiver. And apparently, you can put the open bolt. It's a different trigger pack, I believe, and bolt carrier and everything. It goes into the AUG. But of course, it only fits in a full auto AUG. It will stay. Most transferable AUGs are Sears, which are in the trigger pack. So otherwise, they're a semi-automatic receiver and everything. But there were a few machine gun AUGs that they remachined the housing or whatever. They machined the receiver to be full auto spec. And in those cases, you can convert it to an open bolt like that. But I've always wanted to shoot one just to see what it was like.
Well, hey, so make it a road trip. Maybe I'll meet you out there. So, definitely get some video. Yeah, it seems like when you look at, one thing I like about, I don't know a whole lot about Steyr, but when you look at Steyr in the U.S., they will sell you anything. Oh, you want a 9mm conversion for your AUG? No problem. Oh, you want a light machine gun barrel and bipod for your AUG? No problem. Oh, you want to convert it to accept AK magazines or these? No problem. 300 blackout conversion? No problem. You want this? You want that? You want this? You want that? We'll sell you. We'll sell you a 9mm pistol one already built if that's what you want. It's like Glock magazines. They'll sell you anything.
They weren't always like that, though. I remember after the assault weapons ban, there was a time frame when they got kind of snooty about supplying stuff to the U.S.
Oh, I'm sure people took it as being snooty. Steyr's kind of a small company, and they're fucking Austria. They don't give a fuck. They don't.
Well, Steyr is a big company, actually. It's just one small division is firearms. I mean, Steyr makes a lot of vehicles and stuff.
Wait a minute. Is that the same Steyr that designed the Grenadier?
That I don't know, but
the company that designed so the guy who the guy who owns Grenadier, the truck I have, his name's Jim Radcliffe, and he's in England, and he owns Ineos Chemicals. And then they're made in a Mercedes-Benz factory that he bought in France on the French border. But apparently the company that did the design work for the Grenadier was called Steyr Magna. Is that the same Steyr?
It could be. It could be.
Holy shit. You know what? Stretch. Why Google something? Start talking. Hold on.
Start bullshitting.
Hold on.
I think Steyr is involved in a lot of the defense industry there. Actually, the first thing that went to mind when you said it was on the French border with Germany was that factory built in World War II on the German side of the border and then kind of switched after they lost?
Well, you know what? I don't know the background history. I don't know the background history of what's going on at this thing. So, okay, hold on. Here we go. Steyr Arms is a premier Austrian manufacturer, blah, 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 blah. Acquired by RSBC Holding In 2024, kind of like L&O owns a bunch of L&O owns Sig and Blaser and Sauer and all that. I don't know. I don't know who RSBC is. It almost looks like Bank of Canada or Bank of China. RSBC Holding in 24, they are known for innovation like cold hammer forged barrels and safe bolt systems, AUGs, handguns.
They don't say what subsidiaries they are?
Okay, here we go. Magna, as in Magna International, is a separate automotive supplier, not part of Steyr Arms, though both have roots in Austrian manufacturing.
So what you're saying is Steyr in Austria is like Smith here.
Maybe.
Everyone's named Steyr over there.
Oh, here we go. It's called Magna Steyr. Magna International, Magna Steyr. Oh, wait a minute. It's in Graz. What the hell? Automotive Magna Steyr Fassung. Good God. Farsenzuken Technik is an automobile manufacturer based in Graz. Isn't Steyr in Graz, Styria, Austria? Isn't Steyr in I think they're in Graz, Graz, where its prime manufacturing plant is also located. It is a subsidiary of Canadian-based, that's the name, Canadian, because I said that looked like a Canadian bank, Magna International, and was previously part of the Steyr Daimler Puch conglomerate.
There you go. Yeah. And remember, Steyr Puch used to make mopeds and stuff like that, as well as military vehicles.
And, Daimler Chrysler. Remember Daimler Chrysler?
Yeah.
And then it was Daimler. Is it still Daimler Chrysler? Because they were at one point they were with Fiat. Well, now it's Stellantis, right? Do I have misremembering all that? This is a gun podcast, not a car podcast. You can tell.
Yeah, I've only got so many brain cells to allot to guns, and I don't use them up on most of this other shit.
Tires. I got you to say the word shit. That must really be bad. 4MATIC, 4-wheel drive. Because I know that, anyway, Magna Steyr, they designed the G-Wagon. That's why the Grenadier looks a lot like, it's very boxy like a G-Wagon. It's boxy like a G-Wagon because it's utilitarian. But considering they designed the actual G-Wagon, that's not a coincidence that it's basically, very similar. Anyway, there was a fun trip down memory lane. I don't know. Anything else? Did you hear that hell froze over and Wilson Combat is going into the 2011 business?
Oh, yeah, I did hear that.
That's, they bought Wilson Combat, for the listener at home. Wilson Combat bought Guncrafter Industries. And, they do the 50 GI caliber. Do they even still make the 50 GI?
I have no idea.
I never paid attention to that caliber.
It's one of those extraneous shit. I'm like, I'll never need it. Don't care about it.
Trust me. If I'm like, oh man, I'm not buying 30 Luger. I'm definitely not buying 50 G. The whole idea, 50 GI is a punchline to a joke. Why do you carry a 45? Because you don't make a 50. And then guys like, let's make 50 GI. So I guess they bought them, and I guess I didn't realize this, but I guess Guncrafter Industries is really deep into the 2011 game. So they basically have now absorbed a 2011, or a bunch of 2011s.
2011s just don't interest me at all. I mean, what got me about 1911s when I was a kid was, what was that movie? It was with, who's the actor that's so well known? Who was in The Great Escape? Seagal. No.
Shit.
He died of lung cancer. He was in The Great Escape. He was the guy on the motorcycle. Steve McQueen.
Yeah, Steve McQueen. Yeah,
all right.
The bullet guy.
Remember he did, he played Papa. I forgot the guy's last name. He was Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
That movie got me into 1911s because him going through clearing a house with that 1911. I'm like, oh, I want a 1911. Look how cool that looks in his hand. But you look at a 2011 to me, and it looks like it's a fat sausage or something that shouldn't be in your hand.
Yeah, 2011s are extremely compromised guns. They don't interest me either. That's why I'm so into the Wilson X9 guns.
Now, those are beautiful looking designs and everything, but the 2011s are an afterthought look.
Well,
It doesn't have the aesthetics.
Well, the problem with the 2011 is that nobody that makes a 2011 today actually invented the gun. And so they're all locked into this frame size that's really designed for 45 or 38 Super.
When the 2011, who was that guy who's in Texas?
Chip McCormick.
Chip McCormick, yeah. Didn't he basically come up with it?
Yeah. I mean, it was
a competition-only gun, but I mean, that was pretty much how it started, wasn't it?
The 2011 started as a way to get more rounds into a 45. And then, so you've got that 45 sized magazine, and then you're stuck with that 45 size frame. And so what ends up happening is none of these companies, I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but like none of these companies, like they all have subcontractors, or they're all using, things that have been designed by other people. And so ultimately what you end up with is a 45 sized caliber frame, and people are stuffing 9mm in it. Well, you could get away with that with 38 Super, because 38 Super is still long, like a 45. But 38 Super is the same length as a 45, so it's this long-ass round. But you got these short, stubby 9mm rounds, and so you've got this free space where the 9mm's got to float and then get into the chamber and out of the magazine. Like it's a fucking disaster, and all that wasted space that you don't need, it doesn't fit most people's hands. That's why, like a Glock 17 next to a 9mm 2011, a Glock 17 feels like it's holding a broom handle. It's so small because it's a frame designed around the size of the caliber. Basically, for people that don't know, a 2011 is like if you took a Glock 20 or 21 and then stuffed 9mm in it. And that's the fundamental problem. Wilson decided, fuck that, and made their X9 gun. And then I guess now Staccato's finally tried to do it. That's when they came up with this. I can't remember what the Staccato gun is, but they use a Glock magazine. Because they basically decided that everyone knows that these 2011 magazines and these 2011 frames are dog shit. It's a huge problem with these guns. It's so much wasted space. They're unnecessarily big. And so,
when you publish my book of Swedish BAR, you're going to have to change the name of the broadcast to John 2011.
John,
just to fit it in.
Just to fit it in. Yeah. You know what? That's the name of this pod. John 2011 right here. There it is right there. So, and I'll put some video clips or some movie trailers from the Steve McQueen Bounty Hunter movie. So, I'll find
Papa
it. And I'll
Thornton.
put it
Papa Thornton was his character's name.
Yeah. Is that the one where he had the convertible and he had the big giant guy in the convertible and he's this little white guy and they're driving or he's taking him back in?
It was leaning over to one side because the guy was so big. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. See, I'm old like you. I remember all those movies. I saw all those movies. So we'll put that up in.
You want to know an old movie that I've been looking for something? Do you remember McQ with John Wayne in it? He fires a Mac 10 or Mac 11?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
In that movie, when they give him that gun, the gun store just gives him the Mac 10 in the middle of whatever, San Francisco.
Yeah.
They give it to him in a bag. And it's like a small, I'm going to call it a doctor's bag, but it's not. But it is OD green bag. It's like a little military bag. I had a buddy who I used to shoot with. I don't anymore. But he had a Mac 10 and he found one of those stinking bags identical. And so he had it specifically in that bag. It looked like it just came out of the movie. And I've been looking for one of those bags and I cannot find one. So if one of the listeners can figure out where to get one of those, I'd like to know.
Absolutely. Leave in the comment section, or if for some reason in your life that you cannot do it publicly because, I don't know, the bag cartel will come and get you, email me directly, podcast@john1911.com, podcast@john1911.com, and we will get a rescue bag to Mongo so he can live his John Wayne fantasies. Did you ever hear the story of the first time that they gave John Wayne a Mac 10 in real life, or Mac 11, whatever it was?
No.
Have you ever heard this?
No, I have not.
I don't know the exact scenario, but they were demonstrating these guns to John Wayne, and somebody held the gun backwards and almost shot a bunch of people. I can't remember the specifics, and you're like, how is that even possible? But you know what? It might have been they had it in a briefcase.
Oh, there was a briefcase that fit the Mac, like the HK MP5k fits in a briefcase. They had one for the Mac as well.
I think they had it, and luckily they were holding it down by their side, not in front of them.
Okay, I know the story now that you're talking about it. Actually, they were holding it by the handle like you're supposed to. What you're supposed to do it is hold the briefcase horizontal and basically rest it against your chest when you fire. That's how the HK is taught.
Yeah.
But what they did I've kind of heard this story now. What they did was they were holding it on the handle and had their arms straight down their side like you were carrying a briefcase. And they pulled the trigger. Well, the recoil on that thing sent that gun and the briefcase back. And when it's traveling backwards, you are now potentially sweeping your own legs, much less the ground in front of you and anyone around you.
Okay.
And so it wasn't held backwards. It was, what happened is just the recoil was enough to drive that gun back to almost chop off. Well, it would have been, if it hit the guy, it would have cut his calves off, you know.
Now, was that involved John Wayne? Was he there?
I believe, now that we mention it, it may have been something along those lines, but I'm not absolutely sure on that. But I had heard, there's been enough problems with those types of briefcases and stuff that is a common occurrence with the HK and also the Mac. They also built it for the American 180, which is the 200. It's the 180 round drum 22 machine gun. They built it into a drum as well, and they put a laser in it so you could shoot out the thing. Of course, the one for the Mac and the one for the Mac and one for the American 180, they always look cobbled together. Of course, HK looks Teutonic, well over engineered and everything.
Yeah, one of those H&K ones came up for sale recently. I think it was at Rock Island or Morphe's.
You got to be real careful with those. Yeah, you got to be real careful with those because there were, quote, fake ones made. And it's hard to tell. Only the people who really know, but they found the same briefcase and they made basically a duplicate of it that's fake from the HK. And there is, of course, collectors on HKs. They want original HK. So there's been a lot of controversy, people selling the quote fakes and not even knowing it. Or if they did know it, they wouldn't cop to it.
Well, yeah, one of the problems with that kind of stuff is, so like, for example, we've got the German K98 sniper here. And the guy, Ohio OVGCA or OGCA, Gun Collectors Association, and he swears up and down that he found the rifle. It had the hard points or holes in it for it being a sniper. He put it together, and he's got these aftermarket whatever base and rings or what it's got on it, and then he's got like according to him, a real scope. And he knows that he can't sell that as a quote real deal German sniper, 100% matching correct, whatever, because all of his buddies know that he got that years ago and he put it together. And he kind of gave me a little bit of the story, but I'm like, again, that I'm not paying what that gun could be worth, because I have to treat it like the whole thing is intentionally just fake. So I bought it as a fake price. But here's the problem. That gun sits in our collection. Let's say I live another 30 years, and I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't decided what's going to happen to the John 1911 collection yet. But 30 years from now, somebody runs across that gun, either maliciously or unintentionally, they'll be like, John 1911 German, real deal German sniper, because it came from John 1911. You know what I mean? And it's like all of a sudden now it's getting passed around as like a real gun. And then someone discovers it's not. And then, everyone looks like an asshole.
Well, I told you how I spotted it wasn't original, didn't you? Did I?
Well, the bases.
Well, it uses
the screw heads.
It uses torque head screws on it, and their torques were not invented until well after World War II.
Well, yeah, but that's my point. Like this gun, like the guy who put this together, he wasn't trying to fake it.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying from photographs how I told.
Yeah.
So in the future, somebody could look at it and say that, but that doesn't stop somebody unscrupulously getting.
Absolutely.
It's not like it's hard to get slotted head screws in that size. It's just, I'm sure it's just a standard metric size.
Yeah. So that's
I do believe the bases on the original were, I believe, were silver soldered to the receiver. I can't state that for a fact, but I believe, if I remember right, they were. So that would be another indicator.
Yeah. Well, these are definitely not. So, but like to go back to the H&K things again, like they're now quote, they're faked, but it could have just been some guy who's like, man, I love that briefcase thing. I've got an MP5. Oh, look, there's a Zero Halliburton briefcase. I'll just put it together. This is awesome. And he's just living his best life, and he's not like, look at this. And I got this for half the price. And like, look what I got, guys. And he's great. 30 years from now, that thing ends up in Morphy's as a faked H&K briefcase gun. It's like, well, it wasn't fucking fake. It's fake for you, but the guy wasn't trying to fake anything. He just was having fun.
Right, yeah.
So, everybody's...
Someone posted online how you can tell the difference. Unfortunately, I can't remember because I didn't want to commit the brain cells long-term to it.
Yeah, probably something like, it doesn't have like yellow lining or some crazy bullshit, whatever. Or like a little piece of plastic for like the brass or something. It'll be something goofy like that.
Those things are only fun to fire once. After you've done it once, you're like, okay. It's not worth anything now to me. I've done the experience. It's kind of like firing a minigun to me. Granted, the only time I fired a minigun was at static targets, not two-legged running ones. But
I have to admit, we've got that FRT gun, and I fired it like a few times, like on video, and I'm like, I mean, I haven't been like wanting to go run out and shoot it again, like FRT.
Well, I was going to give you some advice when you decided to finally man up and become a machine gun owner. Especially since you own your own range. This makes a difference. And I guess this is what I've learned over the years owning machine guns. to me, machine guns are fun. I'm not one of these persons that comes to the line and goes, sprays the whole magazine downrange and says, yay, that was fun. Because that's not fun to me. I like hitting stuff. Well, what do you do with a machine gun if you're going to hit something? Well, with a subgun, you're going to do it close range. And you can do that on cardboard or steel. That's fun. I enjoy that. I mean, I've shot submachine competition before. I enjoyed it. Rifle caliber submachine guns. I mean, not submachine guns. Rifle caliber machine guns like an M16, FNC, things like that. There's no purpose to make them fun for me. And I'll quantify that. But so what are you going to do? Those are basically spray weapons. The only time they ever put on full auto in the military is basically suppressing fire. It's always on semi. Now, light machine guns, and this is why I like collecting controllable light machine guns, because I like shooting at steel at like 300 yards or so or more. And you can let a 3-round burst go, and then you hear 1, 2, and pop, pop, pop. You hear 3 hits on the steel. And that's signifying, to me, that's like target shooting, but granted, you're not trying to shoot for groups other than getting all groups on that piece of steel. And that's fun to me.
That's hard to do. I would imagine that would be tough.
You got to be a good machine gunner to be, control with the trigger and stuff. Plus, it needs to be a good machine gun. There's a lot of machine guns out there that just like a show will beat the shit out of you, and you'll miss the steel probably with all the rounds, but maybe everything but the first. So with your own range, you have those extended ranges with steel on it. So a light machine gun would serve you better, or a subgun would serve you better. But an M16, you're not going to really get much out of it. Or a full auto FNC, or any of the other, or AC556.
That's been a debate, because like I've got the FNC. It's like, should I get the Sear? And it's like, because I've got the FNC. It's like, well, I get the Sear. I'm like, it's a 556 machine gun. And then the other argument is to get some kind of transferable AR, just so I can have the lower, because you can do a lot with it. In theory, you could bolt a bunch of shit on it. Well, you know what I mean?
This goes back to theory. Goes back to that article I wrote for you on the LSW, or the Colt 950. It's in the light machine gun caliber now, or category now, even though it's still 5.56. And that is so super smooth to shoot. It's so fun. It's also very easy to hit targets at very long range with burst.
Well, but I will tell you, I have thought about, I've never told you this, and I haven't told anybody this, but this has crossed my mind since I do have my own gun range. Like, I have looked at the prices of, not lately, I'm sure I'll be disappointed, but it always seemed like a belt-fed Maxim machine gun, or, some of these other like pretty esoteric medium machine guns. They're not that crazy expensive, but at least it didn't used to be. And, I could set one of those up on a range again, because, the thing weighs, it's going to weigh whatever. It's going to be heavy in a tripod and all this crap. Set it out there, and I could have fun with it for an afternoon shooting steel, or even on video. Let's set some tannerite out at 100, 200, 300 and see how we can get that tannerite to pop, and that would pop on video. And like that would be like something to do with a belt-fed machine gun. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, I didn't include the tripod-mounted belt feds. A lot of people like jamming down on the triggers of those as well. And I've owned a M37, which is the modernized 1919 A4, which they used them in tanks and stuff because it has rear cocking.
Yeah.
But they, to me, they're not very fun either, because you don't have any of the sensation I guess, of recoil because you're basically just shooting off a tripod. And so it's just sitting there. You're just mashing the trigger and you're making small adjustments on the T and E. To me, that wasn't very fun. And going back to, I guess, how this started, it was what I was saying was a minigun. I fired a minigun and I'm like, oh yeah, this is neat. I've done it. Enough for me. I can't afford to feed it, much less own it. That's enough. I've had it. And if I owned one, I'd sell it anyway. I mean, I've had the thrill of firing it, and that was enough. Now, somebody starts flying RC airplanes out there and let me shoot at them, that may be a different story.
Oddly enough, we did have one particular SWAT team that was wanting to bring in one of their helicopters and practice shooting at targets from a helicopter out here. And like they were pretty serious about it there for about a year, I would say. And I was like, well, okay. I mean, you can, that's cool. Like, you can do it. Like, it's fine. I mean, you're not going to hurt anything because our range is valleys. So like, we're perfect for that. Like, you're not going to, you're not going to, we're not going to have any issues with like stuff leaving the property. But, it's like, how much does it cost to fly that helicopter an hour? And, to fly it out here and then to land it and then to get people on it and then do whatever and then land it, get more people on it and do whatever and then fly it back. And then what if they get a call?
I think you forgot one little thing in there, though. How much does it take to give Marky a ride in it to shoot out of it?
Well, that came up too. And I was like, look, this person, they may be listening to this podcast and it's totally fine. I'm not saying anything out of school. And they will, in particular, I had this conversation with one of them. I said, look, of course I would want a ride. And they're like, absolutely. You could. They were offering it to me, but I said, guys, you got to understand something here. Okay. You got to realize that. All right. I'm going to say this. Okay. So look, cops are people too. Cops are boys and boys can be like little boys, like 12-year-old boys. And, 12-year-old boys get these ideas and they're just like, this will be cool. And let's go do this and let's go do that because they're boys. And it's like, well, you got to understand this helicopter costs a lot of money and there's insurance and there's fuel and there's the pilot. And then you got to file a flight plan to get at least out of the city to get out here. We have to let.
There's filming costs for when you say get some and all the other words.
But the idea, it's like, guys, you got to understand something. It's like, this is a public, this piece of equipment is a public resource. And we have to be very careful, like even letting me on it for even just like 10 minutes, you could put a dollar value on what that would cost. And that could be considered, in a way, almost stealing. So unless, like, I just was like, said, hey, if I can get on it, that's great, but I'm going to assume I can't because don't be surprised when you guys do this that eventually someone's going to start sniffing around, but like, why'd they do that? And
where my question would be, why don't you do that?
Yeah. Well, actually, and this came out later, but one member of this team was talking to John McPhee, and actually I was there. John McPhee about using a helicopter because John McPhee has a lot of experience, I guess, with helicopter interdiction of vehicles and doing helicopter stuff. And McPhee was like, they were like, and they're snipers and they're like shooting from helicopters. And McPhee, again, this is where like, the adults kind of have to like tell the little kids like, yo, slow your roll a little bit. Cause even McPhee was like, nobody trains snipers from helicopters. He says, because what you do is the helicopter just runs right up on what it needs to shoot and shoots straight down at it. He said this idea that snipers are going to be shooting from a helicopter at any type of distance, he's like, nobody uses helicopters like that. He's like, yeah, basically you got dudes with guns in a helicopter, and the helicopter runs right up on top of whatever it wants to shoot, and it dudes in the helicopter shoot straight down at what they're fucking shooting at. And so that kind of conversation kind of cut this project off at the knees a little bit too, because it was going to be what I thought it was going to be, where it's going to be like you're going to run the helicopter, into one of the valleys. You're going to, you're either going to have to practice coming in and hitting a target that know's there, or you're going to have to practice coming into one of the valleys and I set up a target and you got to find it and then you got to hit it. But either way, you're running up on that target in a helicopter. I didn't think there was going to be like a helicopter hovering and then shooting 600 yards down the range. I was like, I seriously doubt that's going to happen. Like, there's no problem. It's actually technically safer to shoot from a helicopter in the air than it is to shoot from the ground, just because of the angles. But it was like, yeah, I did not. Not that I'm so smart, but the people that do this for a living were like, yeah, dude, no one shoots long distance out of helicopters. They just run the helicopter. Helicopter runs whatever's fleeing down, and they just start shooting at it. And it's not that hard. Well, there's no specialized training. And if there's no specialized training, how do you justify the dollars and the liability of bringing the helicopter out here?
Well,
and heaven forbid if there's an accident.
If they really wanted to get some good training in on the helicopter, they ought to come down here and hunt pigs from a helicopter in Texas.
To be completely honest, that would be a more economical, with less liability, significantly more economical, and less exposure to liability doing that. Absolutely, 100%, 100%. That would be the way to do it.
I've always wanted to take my stoner out and see if I could, do that, but I'd be afraid of losing it overboard.
Well,
I'd be clutching to that sucker so hard.
Hey, look! It sounds like to me someone needs to get on Gunbroker and just find some mounts for the Stoner 63, some pintle mount thing.
I actually own one already.
There you go. There you go. Look, let me tell you something. Robinson R44 is not that expensive of a helicopter. I'm sure they'll let you drill into the floor. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not like the Hughes 500 that they're running for the police department. That thing's like $5 million. Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy up here who owns a ranch, he's basically eradicated all the hogs off that ranch using NIM 60 and thermal.
That's fantastic, because that's hard to do.
Oh,
seriously?
It's about 500 acres total, and just going out and fun, and just every couple nights a week going out there and drilling hogs, and the hogs learned. What's funny is he killed a sow with a bunch of piglets, and he kept one of the piglets, the one that didn't get shot, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And this piglet started drinking beer with him. And this pig would drink, he'd give him a glass long neck, and that pig would take it in its mouth, tip up its head, and drink, guzzle that whole beer. And it got to be a regular thing. I mean, every night they'd drink beer together. And this pig became damn big. And eventually somebody shot the pig off his own property, because the pig learned to stick around,
Mm-hmm.
Somebody saw the pig and said, holy shit, look at the size of that pig. Yeah, it's a beer-fed pig. And somebody shot it, unfortunately. He named him Wilbur, of course. But
Wilbur, of course.
Wilbur, at the end of one of my videos on my YouTube channel, there's a video of Wilbur having his way with one of those blue water barrels, because that was Wilbur's girlfriend.
Okay. Hey, look, that's a separate YouTube channel. So we're going to have to wrap this one up. So this wraps up episode 402 of the John 1911 podcast. You want to see any more stories or pictures or links of anything we discuss, including pig sex? Please go to the website at john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day. Say bye, Mongo.
Bye, Mongo.